Hello and welcome to a new campaign in the Crusader Kings III DLC, All Under Heaven. In our last campaign, we played as a landless ruler in China, and we saw a lot of new unique mechanics for the game. This time, we're going to be playing as a character over in Japan, which also got a lot of new unique mechanics, such as administrative government. Now you might be saying, wait a second here, I've seen this one before. There was administrative government over here with China. Nope, completely different. Administrative government over here with the Byzantines. No, this is also completely different from that. This is its own flavor of administrative government. And it has some interesting twists. I'm not immediately sure how much I like them, but they are interesting, to say nothing else about them. So, let's get into how exactly the government system works over here and how that's going to shape our playthrough. So, the first thing about this government is that it limits you by design to generally only govern a single county. So, you have one domain limit, and if we go and have a look at your character finder here, we have a couple of people at the top who we'll talk about in a second. We have a couple that start as Duke level titles, and then everybody else is a Count level title. Which is odd, right? That feels very odd to have everybody else be a Count level title, because you also can't really expand as an administrative ruler. So you have a singular piece of land, and you can't really expand from it. And this opens up a ton of questions for how exactly you're meant to play. Well, one mechanic they added in to change how you play as a singular county ruler is they added in house blocks. So if I go in here, I can't find an easier way of seeing the block list, so apologies if there is an easier way. If we go into the blocks here, you'll see that we have a collection of people who all have a singular piece of land, or they're part of a house, and maybe some of their family members all have like bits of land. They banded together and they formed a block. This block is effectively a defensive pact, similar to what would they call it? Confederations in the Nomad DLC. And that means you'll all defend each other if you're attacked, which means that although you have a very small amount of land, if you join the block, you're quite well defended. The leader of the block gets to press for different factions to happen, so that's how you are able to influence power within the realm. You take your singular piece of land and your singular bit of power that you have, and you add it to a collective, and then that collective has a leader who then is able to push for whatever you want. And the block also adds in some extra bonuses if you happen to have good relations with other people in the block. So, first things first, you've got a cohesion thing in here. And if we have a look here, you'll see that you get more cohesion if individual houses have better house relations with people in the block. However, that's not it. That's not all. If we go and have a look here, you'll see that there is an aspiration for each block. This aspiration, if you have people in the block who don't share it, lowers block cohesion. But it also provides benefits if you have higher block cohesion. So, if you look for this one, you've got prosperity, and prosperity gives you these benefits for having level 2 cohesion. If you want to have a look at another one, for service, you get a different collection of benefits. This person, I'm assuming, is part of a ceremony block. Yep. They have a different set of benefits. So, it allows you to shape your playthrough in this sort of way. You join a block, you build up in the block, you try and get yourself to the top of the block. That allows you to be in charge of what factions are firing, and you get all sorts of interesting stuff as part of that. So, that's the first side of things. However, that's not all. You are not stuck to your singular piece of land for your entire playthrough. What you can do is you can upgrade your manor, another returning mechanic. Upgrading your manor building allows you to increase your domain limit, so you can have more land. Okay, fantastic. However, you may also see this establish Soryo fief decision up here. Now this is where things get quite weird. So, Soryo is another government type which you can only get if you start as Ritsuru, and it is a feudal government type. Now, what this effectively means is you've decided to become a criminal. You've decided that actually you don't want to follow the administrative thing where you have to like get an election to put your next leader in charge. What you want to do is you want to just hold your land, and you want to have it just act as feudal land. You want it to be your land, which is a criminal action. Effectively, you're saying, I'm going to hold this land. It doesn't matter what the head government says. And this comes with positives and negatives. The positive is that you get all the benefits of feudal, plus you get to keep your manor building. The negative is that your liege sees you as a criminal and may act against you. So there's definitely some negatives. However, this is where your playthrough, if you want to grab more power, really starts ramping up, because you have a whole bunch of decisions once you get enough power to create a formalized shogunate, I think is your main one, which then allows you to get control over Japan, and then you can go wherever you want to from there. So, our playthrough is, at the start, going to be very small. We're going to build up our own land. We're going to try and keep hold of it via elections. Then we're going to move into house blocks. We're going to try and move our way up the different blocks. We're going to try and get some power. We're going to try and push for factions that are beneficial to us, while also getting house relations with the people within those blocks. Then, once we've done that, we're going to try and switch over to Soryo, which will then allow us to expand out further, which we can then take that power and, in a feudal way, keep conquering land within Japan, become the shogun, which will then allow us to have control over Japan, and then we can see where we go from there. But that's how our playthrough is going to go in theory, but I have no idea how it's going to happen in practice. Now, there is one other mechanic which is added as part of the administrative government, which is a unique mechanic, I believe, to Japan again, which is this. I said we'd come back to these two. Well, let me introduce you to the Emperor of Japan. This is Yamato Kurohito, and he is the Emperor of Japan, except he's a ceremonial monarch. Now, I was trying to think of a good way of describing ceremonial monarchs that didn't just describe Japan. So I came up with a modern day example that isn't in Japan. If you look at modern day Britain, the head of state is the king, right? However, you all pretty much know that that king has no power whatsoever. The real power is the prime minister, right? So, ceremonially, that's the person who has the power, but in practice, it's somebody else. The way that they've decided to do that in this game is they've decided to simply make the Emperor of Japan a vassal of the Kampaku, which is the real ruling power, right? So instead of it having be a diarchy similar to China, this is the ruling regent. He is the top liege of a ceremonial monarch. So, he is effectively the person who's in charge, despite the fact that this is the person who you get all the prestige for marrying into the house with. He's the person who everyone's like, oh wow, this is the person in charge. This is the person actually making the decisions. So that is roughly how things work, from my understanding. So, what do we do to start? Well, I have some small, short-term goals for us. First goal, we need to get some children, because we need to have an heir that we can build up, and we need to then get whoever our heir is to be the next person in line to hold this title that we currently have. Why? Well, because I think long-term it would be best for us to try and hold on to a singular piece of land and to build it up. Because then when we eventually switch to Soryo, we will have a piece of land that we've already built up and we'll be ready to go and expand and do whatever we want to. So, that's roughly the plan. Oh, one other thing. there is a new realm law in here for imperial policy. So imperial policy is one of these laws that sets a whole bunch of different things as positives and negatives. What it starts as here is building construction time and cost is down in your holding, but your domicile is actually going to have increased costs, and this makes Ritsuru vassals unhappy because, well, they're the people who have domiciles and they would like to get personal power from them. But what this means for us is very cheap to upgrade our holding, cost quite a lot to upgrade our domicile. So right now we are incentivized to upgrade our holding because it's cheaper. But we'll see how that actually plays out. Oh yeah, another thing that's different from both the Celestial Government and the Byzantine Empire, I believe now, is that we have no treasury. We're back to just having income. Our income is our income now. We don't need to send it up to somebody and then get it doled out as salary. We just get money. So, yeah. So it's a little bit different. Yeah, let's go into doing normal Crusader Kings things. What is our character? So our character is a level 2 diplomacy character. Hasn't got many governor traits, or trait experience, but we can get those over time. And beyond that, we don't really have a lot going on. We're paranoid, gluttonous, and gregarious. Okay. Well, let's start by choosing a lifestyle. So we have 7 in diplomacy. So we have thoughtful, influential contacts, which gives you candidate score for governorships, which is not that useful because I don't think we're in line to any other governorships. Oh, it'll be in here, right? Yeah, like I'm assuming that we're not in line to anything because can I even try and push ourselves in charge of things? Let's have a look at this. How about this land that's over here? Influence candidacy for me. Okay. No, you cannot be granted additional titles of their highest held tier. Okay. So yeah, we can't in any way push ourselves in charge of anything, so it doesn't matter that our candidate score has gone up by 30, unless we're looking for one of these ones up here. Unless we're looking to migrate over to these bits of land up there, it doesn't actually matter. Okay. Next. Collective action. Invite house to block acceptance up. Okay. Learn language schemes up and foreign affairs effectiveness up. Don't think that matters at all for us. Shorter truces and no prestige penalty for breaking them. Again, does not matter. So far, not very impressed by this. We can propose one alliance without a marriage. But who's going to attack us is the other question here. So I don't think that's very important. Although fellow vassal opinion is quite nice here. Embassies. Each alliance grants you 1 diplomacy. Well, I mean, that's beneficial, I guess. Yeah, so that's a reason to get your alliance, but beyond that, not really important. If we continue here, we can get fabricate claim on county speed. Are we actually able to fabricate claims? We are, but I don't know if we'd actually be able to press them, right? Cannot declare war against each other. Yeah, so we'd be able to press a claim if we expanded out of the realm. As in, are you actually in the realm? You are. So if I was to try and expand over to... Well, yeah, I guess if I was to try and expand over to here, I could, in theory, you know, get a claim, declare a war, and go and take that land. But in reality, I'm probably not going to do that. So this doesn't really give us anything. I guess it gives us the bloody grand wedding option, but I don't think we have enough money for that. And then diplomat. Okay, so I'm not really sold on any of this. In here, you have a lot of things that increase your prestige, which, again, doesn't really matter. Right, like none of this matters. Then family hierarch also doesn't matter. Like groom to rule gives your children extra skill points. That means nothing to us. We have no children, right? Like, so none of this means anything to us currently. So, I think diplomacy is probably a bad lifestyle for us to go into. Equally, I think martial is terrible for us. Unless we're looking to, I guess, wait till we get to, promising prospects, right? If we were willing to wait for us to get to promising prospects, then we could get a better marriage, but beyond that, the rest of this just doesn't feel like it's anything. So we're going to move on. Stewardship. Now this I could see being quite good for us. We can get a lot of benefits from, like, well, I'm trying to see, like this one, extort subjects decision. You can get some money from that. We can get money from hooks. Like, there's some things in here that could be really, really good for us. Cutting cornerstones could be good because it makes buildings cheaper. So we could then upgrade even cheaper. We can also increase the development in our own land, which would then mean that it's going to provide more money. So I think that could be very good. I don't know how divided attention works here. I don't think it's going to work because I think that this is going to block our domain limit from going up, right? I think that because we have a maximum domain limit in here, that's going to block it from increasing via this. Although this only increases it by 1 and usually increases it by 2. So maybe this would increase our domain limit permanently. I'm not sure. Anyway, not important. And then we could get architect, which would be fairly cool. Then in here, yeah, I don't think any of this is very relevant to us. Yeah, okay. Intrigue. I think intrigue's something you go into when you have a purpose. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, right? Like, we could fabricate hooks, but why am I fabricating a hook? What am I trying to achieve? So we'll move on to that, or move on from that. Learning lifestyle has some cool stuff where we could get increased development in county, so we could try and increase the development in our holdings. I think we'd be better off just going in here and grabbing centralization. And then we have Wanderer, where we could go and travel around and get a bunch of benefits. I think for now, stewardship makes the most sense for us. And I think I'm just going to grab the monthly income. Because usually you would want to get flat stewardship in order to hold... Though our stewardship sucks. Actually, what negatives are we taking from our stewardship right now? We are getting significantly reduced domicile income and domain taxes. Maybe it is worth increasing our stewardship. I was going to say it's probably not worth increasing our stewardship, because usually you'd want to do it in order to get more domain limit, but that doesn't apply to us. But, yeah, maybe it's worth it just to reduce these negatives. Maybe. Yeah. So we're minus 14, minus 28. Let's take this. So we are now at minus 8, so we've got 6% more domain taxes and 8% more domicile income. So it probably isn't giving us... Yeah, it's not giving us quite as much as that. But it gives us a few other benefits as well. Like, it does give us a little travel speed. Which I guess is okay. And I think it will also then give us more stewardship experience over time. Because I think our monthly gain is based upon our stewardship value. Although I could be wrong about that. Anyway. So there we go. Next for us, we need a wife. Well, I mean, we have an option to get many wives. If we have a look at our culture... wait, it's not our culture, it's our faith. But we should have an option. It should tell us here about this. Yeah, so we have polygamous marriage, so we can have up to 4 spouses. So that's the main thing there. While we're on looking at faith and culture, let's just quickly go through these. So... you can recruit some special men-at-arms. Martial education traits also give prowess. Non-martial gender, unmarried, close family and spouses of non-administrative rulers may serve as bushi in defensive wars. So there is a reason to keep non-martial gender, so that'd be women, who are unmarried, and your close family, unmarried in your court, because it would then allow them to serve as knights. So there is a reason to keep some people around that normally you wouldn't have any reason to keep around in your court. And you can do single combat against any non-administrative character of martial gender of equal or lower rank. Although, currently that doesn't really apply to anyone because everybody's administrative, but it'll matter more when you switch to Soryo. Ephemeral Grace. Poet gets some more benefits, and you can have a court gardener. And you can recruit court gardeners, which is useful because you don't get a lot of natural court gardeners that just appear in your court. Yashima. Gain prestige when completing buildings in holdings with either mountains or forest terrain. What is our terrain? Our terrain, we have some forests and we have some mountains. Okay. So, we're not completely useless there. Okay. Cool. Let's go back into here. So we could get some benefits. We can get more development growth in hills as well, which we're in. We're in hills. Fantastic. Yeah, so there's some good stuff in there for us. Inward perfection. Less willing to marry with characters of other cultures. Distant realms. Very unlikely to arrange marriages outside their own culture. Hybrid culture requires you to reach 100% cultural acceptance. And you may always challenge characters to board games. But this comes with a negative in that you don't get as much innovation progress from spread. As in, you don't get innovation progress from people who are nearby you. But you get more from what you're specifically trying to get as part of your culture. This isn't really going to apply to us because our cultural leader will always be this guy. So, it's basically going to mean that we're just like, whatever the AI decides we're going to get slightly quicker. And we're not going to get whatever this AI decides we're going to get. But it might matter if we ever gain some real power. Dynastic pragmatism. Basically, the long and short of this one is you always have access to adopt, and adopting is cheaper. Also, you can have up to 4 spouses. Yeah, there was something in culture, I remember looking at this. But also, house relation changes go up more. So, the way I'm reading this, I might be wrong, is that if you have a marriage, you're going to get more house relation per marriage, but you would also get more house relation negatives if you had, like, say, a rivalry appear, right? So the way I'm reading this is that house relations in general are going to be more impactful, so we're going to want to pay attention to them. On top of the fact that house relations are now related to your block as well, so if you have better house relations within your block, that will then cause you to get more cohesion. So house relations are very, very important for us here. And then the last one is in here. We have warrior monks. So we can recruit warrior monks, and members of the clergy can serve as commanders or bushi. So bushi is the name for knights here. And the monastery line of buildings provides additional prowess and martial bonuses, and you get prowess per level of devotion for all Yamato characters. Now, one thing I did want to check is our land that we have, just on the religion and culture thing, our land that we have is currently Shinto. But we are currently Yogakara. So what's the difference? And would we want to switch to Shinto? Can I switch to Shinto? I guess I can't adopt local, but I guess I could do it via here. So I could convert to faith like this, if I had a little bit more piety. Which one do I want? Okay. Well, let's just have a look at between them. Because they're both righteous to each other, so there's no reason why we would necessarily want one or the other. So, this one gives you county conversion speed, which I guess is kind of useful if we wanted to convert our land over, which we should do if we decide that we're not going to switch to Shinto. Characters of this faith gain additional bonuses upon completion of a pilgrimage. Allows to become adventurer decision, doesn't matter. And temperate is a virtue, gluttonous is a sin. So gluttonous being a sin is not great for us as a gluttonous person. Literalism. May debate other lords in the realm at the cost of opinion to gain or lose piety. Makes the following traits virtues: astute intellectual, mastermind philosopher, erudite, oracle, or scholar. Okay. And increases your monthly merit, which does not matter because we do not have merit. So, not feeling like that's very beneficial to us. Inner journey. You can decide to meditate in seclusion, reducing stress and possibly gaining theological insights. Okay. Makes patient a virtue, impatient a sin. It's polygynous marriage. You can always divorce. Cousin marriage, bastardry is legitimized, or it has legitimization. Same-sex relations are accepted. Deviancy, female adultery, male adultery is all shunned, along with witchcraft. Kinslaying, dynastic is criminal. You have cremation, and then there are some special doctrines that basically say that other faiths will be considered astray instead of evil, or they'll be considered righteous if they have immaterial harmony. Okay, let's have a look at our land here, at Shinto. So, communal identity. Conversion speed in counties of my culture increased. Promote cultural speed in counties of my faith increased. Conversion speed in counties of a different culture reduced. Okay. That doesn't really matter. The Shintoists getting same faith opinion is nice. Ancestor worship. Prestige from level of splendor for newborns increased. Prestige from level of splendor when getting married increased. Maximum long reign opinion bonus increased. Characters of this faith gain additional bonus upon completion or successful completion of a pilgrimage. And then close family opinion. Okay, that's not too bad. And then ritual celebrations. Hosting a feast earns piety. Hosting a festival, new activity available for well, actually I don't know what causes it to be available, but new activity that we can do earns piety. Vassals are more likely to attend your feast. Those that refuse to come will lose piety for doing so. It unlocks the brewery line of buildings for temple holdings. Then you get vassal opinion and courtier opinion. Coming down here, no bastards. There are no such things as a bastard. All children are equally legitimate. All adultery is accepted. Same-sex relations are accepted, but deviancy and witchcraft are still shunned. And then you get historic burial instead of whatever the other one said, cremation. Okay. Interesting. I feel like I want to switch. I feel like I want to switch over. So we might switch over. We just need a little bit more piety. And currently we're earning negative 0.1 piety per month. Well, that's mostly due to us having too few spouses. So I guess we need to go get ourselves a spouse so we can not take that negative. Right. So, what are we looking for in a spouse? Well, as our primary spouse, we are looking for somebody who's going to provide us stats, right? That's our main thing. We're looking for somebody who's going to provide us stats. It actually doesn't matter whether our primary spouse provides us any children whatsoever. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I don't care about fertility. In fact, I don't care about pretty much all of this. What's the person with the best stewardship that you got? Is this person. Okay, so 20. What's the best one with inheritable traits? 8. Ooh, that's a significant hit. Alright. So, we could marry her purely for the stewardship. I think we should do that. We're going to marry Suneko. Wonderful. She will accept. She gains prestige for marrying into our house. We don't gain any positive... Oh, wait. Characters whose faiths are polygamous gain no prestige from marriage? Interesting. Huh. I didn't know that. But, yeah. We gain 0 anyway. We don't lose any, which is fine. Yeah. I'm happy to have this one be accepted. So we're going to marry this lowborn, who's effectively going to run our, well, they're going to run our, whatever it's called. Our kuni. Yeah. Okay. We're on paused a little bit. Let's let that go through. Wonderful. So we are now married. And she is now here, and assist ruler, she's not really giving us a lot here anyway. She's only giving us 1 to the other things. I'm going to put her on managed domain. So she is now giving us 10 extra stewardship. So we now have an actual bonus from stewardship, which is quite nice. Now, the next thing that we're going to want to do Because I think we want some secondary spouses. So let's have a look here. What I'm looking for here is inheritable traits. Is this it? You realize that's all of our... yeah. This is everybody who has an inheritable trait. Okay. Well. We're going to marry, I guess, her. I think that seems fine. Yeah, we'll improve our house relations by 15% with the Ono house. So the Ono house is part of the Yoshimine bloc. Alright. Small bloc which has an aspiration of strength. We're probably not going to continue increasing things with them. Let's do that. We're going to do one marriage just to try and get a positive trait here. And we're going to leave the other two marriages for a second. So let's just wait for that one to go through. Cool. So, we are now not taking a negative due to having too few spouses, which is good. The next thing I would like to do is I'd like to join a block, and I think I've decided which block I want to join. Because we have the Ceremony House Aspiration, another returning mechanic, I think we want to join a block that has the Ceremony House Aspiration stuff going on. By the way, the bonuses that we get here are Feast Activities cheaper to host, characters are more likely to accept marriage offers, and may construct a private tea house at Japanese manor building. All house members gain 1 diplomacy and 10% prestige currently. We can't switch because we need a lot more prestige to switch than we currently have, and we'd only get the first level benefits, so that's why we're staying in Ceremony. I think we should join a block which has a Ceremony House Aspiration, because it claims that we'll get better block cohesion and therefore better bonuses. That's what we're going to do. Now doing this, we're also then going to get even cheaper feast rewards. All members' activity guest acceptance goes up, and all members' appointment score and governorships held by members goes up. You also gain more monthly prestige and personal scheme growth. So we are going to join the hockey block here. And they will accept us, because there is few people in the block. That seems like a fair reason to accept us. And it's going to move our relations with this person to cordial, or with this house to cordial. Wonderful. Well, let's send that one through. And we'll wait for it to go through. We'll be able to speed 4 here. Hey! We've now joined the block, and autonomous governors has been replaced with limited oversight. So, titles can be revoked and vassals can be retracted. Also, everybody hates that. Alright, cool. So, do you have... Wait, oh, I just realized we joined the block, which is the ruling regents block. Oh, alright. Well, that's good, I guess. Just have a look here. And I wasn't... Okay, so is this actually... So if I go to this block... Yeah, so the leader is currently our Kampaku. Okay. Interesting. So, from my understanding, blocks are things that let you do like things like factions as well. But I'm guessing that you can't do that if your block leader is currently the Kampaku. Also, claim house block leadership. Let's have a look. So, vassals cannot take house block leadership from their liege. Alright, yeah, so if we wanted to actually gain power, we would have to change block. Okay, fair enough. So, at least one of these. You are landed and they are not. You're of higher rank. You're 2 levels of fame above them. House Miyako has higher level ceremony aspiration than Hoki. And at least 51% of block members are allied to, terrified of, friends with, a lover of, vassal, or below of, has better house relations with, or is hooked by you, or owes loyalty to you as their dynasty head. Okay. So this is not going to be our long-term block, but for now we get lots of benefits and we can do feasts and things. How much does a feast cost with our reductions in cost? It says it costs 80, but I want to see how much like we're getting as a reduction. Oh wow, it doesn't cost 80. It costs 29 currently. Although I don't see where the reductions are here. That must be Mitsuro. Must be our reductions. Let's get rid of these. Yeah, so we can hold a feast for 13. So it normally costs 30. Should I not be getting 10% off? Let's have a look at our block here. Wait, can I see my block on our character anywhere? Oh, I can see it here. Perfect. So, all members... Oh, it's feast rewards, not feast cost. Oh, I'm being stupid. Okay, my bad. My bad. A ceremony... ceremony should be making it cheaper to host, though. But it doesn't say how much cheaper. It just says cheaper. So, is that our domicile? I'm assuming this doesn't make it any cheaper. No, so this isn't making it any cheaper at all. Okay, so when I go to host a feast... Here... Which, again, we're going to host for, like, the cheapest amount possible. So that must be domicile. So domicile must be our house aspiration, right? Tribal era makes it cheaper. Domicile makes it cheaper. And then Ritsuyo? Unless that's domicile. Which, okay... No, it must be... I'm guessing the government type also makes it cheaper? Doesn't say that it does. But obviously nothing about our domicile makes it cheaper by itself. So I'm not entirely sure why we're getting multiple reductions on that. But anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. It's very, very cheap to host feasts. That's what we should be taking from that. Okay, so now I'm part of this block. What I want to do in theory is make people in this block like us, because now we are contributing to house relations within block bonuses, right? So we want to pick somebody and basically say, hey, is there anyone from your house I can marry? So let's do that. I'm going to pick you. I'm going to say, hey, is there anyone from your house I can marry? Yes, there are 2. But are they actually from his house? Or his... No, so neither one is from his house. Okay. Oh no, that's the wrong way round. I want to... clear him. I want it to be us. Ah, there we go. So I could marry his daughter here. Now his daughter's a little bit older, so we're unlikely to have a huge number of children. But that's not really a problem, because we're only really doing it to increase house relations. That'll form us an alliance with you, apparently. Okay. Oh, I see, because that's your... Oh, okay. Because that is... Ah. Sorry, I was getting kind of confused about the relations, but I understand it. So this is his mother, but it's also your daughter. So it's going to connect us to... effectively both of our lieges. So the ceremonial one and the non-ceremonial one. Okay, but we're only getting relations with the house that we were aiming for. That's okay. Yeah, this seems perfectly reasonable. I don't think I can afford a grand wedding, but I'll send this through. Are you willing to accept it? House relations, her age, his opinion of me, and they desire an alliance, presumably because they don't have many at the start of the game. Okay, let's send it through. Imperial family branches. Kokushi Minamoto Munasada of Echu became a member of House Kanmu. New nobility. There's a new name among the magnates of the Empire of Japan. The Kanmu family has gained the right to be considered part of nobility. Through corruption, intrigue, or actual worth, that I can't say. It doesn't matter. I'm sure they won't amount to more than a grain of sand, ready to be swept away by the turbulent winds of history, and the inexorable advance of House Miyako. So I can go, provincials. Okay. So this person has formed their own, yeah, so they have formed their own, was it house? Yeah. But they're part of the dynasty of Minamoto. And their grandparents held the throne. Okay. Cool. Right. Carrying on. Just for a second. Wait for our marriage to go through. Did our marriage go through? Nope. Okay. I did send that marriage offer, right? Yeah, wait a second. What? It was your daughter, right? Yeah, it was her. Wasn't it? No. No, it was, Wait. Was it her? Now I'm going crazy. It was the mother of our current, of our other current liege. So, it was your... Yeah, it was you. Wait a second. You've married somebody else. Oh. Alright then. Well, I guess I won't marry you. That's fine. Okay then. So anyone else in our block who we can... I should go block like this. Anyone else in our block that we can marry into their family? Your dynasty is Fujiwara, but it's a different house this time. So arranged marriage, clear, between me and her. Okay, so she's a little bit younger, so we're likely to have children. Okay. Let's... Obviously, we'll get betrothed, but that's fine. Let's send that one through. And then let's see if we can do another one in our block. So we're going to go... This one. You. Clear. Us. Could marry another person here. Is there anyone else who we can marry? Potentially not a child. Kanmu is a different Kanmu than the brand new Kanmu. Alright. You are... Yeah, you're lowborn, so we're not going to marry you. Okay. Oh, back to our block. That's us. This person. Everyone else does appear to be part of the Fujiwara dynasty. Clear it. Us. Yeah, so you've more of a child. Okay. And then, last member of our block is you. Let's see. No valid characters. Okay. Well, I'm going back to this one then. I guess we will marry, you. Okay. I guess it's an alliance and improves, house relations with the Nanki house. Okay. Cool. Right. Being betrothed to his niece. And the other one. The other one that I arranged. I've been invited to a festival. I would love to go to a festival. Okay. I need a caravan master. Now that's going to be you. I have other positions I need to put in, but I was getting there. Okay, on the way... wait, on the way back... I'm going to go on a little trip. I'm going to go here, 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 and then we'll make our way back. Cool. Let's go. Okay. Right, I'm guessing that other marriage didn't go through. Because 23, 18. Yeah, what happened to the marriage with the 15-year-old who we had the option to marry? Reyes was part of this one. Let's do this. I'm guessing that we probably had a marriage that happened at the same time as somebody else again. Okay. Let's find another person to marry then. I'm going around in circles. I guess we can marry your other niece? No? Okay, she's already been married. Okay then. Back out here. You got anyone else? Clear. Us? Nope. Okay, next. You. Arranged marriage. Clear. Us? You're lowborn. Next one. You. Marriage. Clear us. Both lowborn. Okay, you. Marriage. Clear us. Okay, no, there's nobody else we can marry. Okay, fair enough. So we will leave it with just the people that we're marrying here then. Or is there no one else that we can marry who's within our block, I should say. Okay, cool. So if we now go and look at house relations. We're cordial with these guys, but everyone else we're just neutral with here. Okay. Now, we do need to marry off our brother as well. Half-brother, I should say. Right, so let's find somebody for him to marry. So we'll do a few different filters here. Okay, so let's say I don't really know who we want him to marry. Let's say we want it to be an adult. That'll probably lower us the number down. Yes, we're at 44 already. Say they want them to be fertile so that you can actually have children. Healthy. Okay, that knocks one person off the list. Anything else that we want here? Alliances? Okay. We could potentially form an alliance with either of these people here. So if I go and have a look at House Funya, let's see what block they're in. Or block the... Ah, right, yes. So you're in the Sugawara block. Okay, which is not our block. And then you're not in a block. Could I ask you to join my block? Only the house head may do that. Alright, well I guess I'll form an alliance with you anyway because you're neutral. Okay. Let's do that. So the Miyako and the Funya house will get some increased relations. Cool. Right. And now we'll just unpause for a second. Alliance formed. Okay, I have some other positions I need to fill in here. I just want to check that everything's mostly fine. So you can be switched to somebody who doesn't hate me. Okay, never mind. Everybody hates me. Why? Because I'm gluttonous. Okay, and I haven't ruled for very long. Okay, and gluttonous is a sin. And mana reform is here, and that means that Ritsuru vassals are unhappy. Of me as well. Alright. Wait a second. Can I change that law? No. Well, oh, I could change it, but only if he happens to change his law. Oh, wait a second. No. I see. I can't change it ever. He's the only one who can change, or he's the only one who can change it. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, so that's not good that you're really bad at the job and you hate me. As I could replace you with somebody who's who's good at the job and hates me. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do that. Somebody who's good at the job and hates me can have that job now. I'm going to switch you to train commanders. Are you the best person available? Yeah. You the best person available? Yeah, maybe. The question would be, do I want you as my Beto or do I want you as my Kure? It really doesn't matter too much, but I think I do want to swap them. You're going to do foreign affairs, which will increase fellow vassal opinion, and then you are going to increase development in our capital. Wonderful. Okay. Right. Let's unpause and go to our festival. Caught outside. Just as we're about to set out, it starts pouring down. Rain as far as the eye can see. I can't help but curse my poor luck, but I had seen the dark clouds come in for a while. If we want to make our journey on time, we have to set out. But it is a risky journey with the weather being what it is. I'll take the chance that we become ill. I'm not worried about that. Band of two. Passing through a back alley in Akashi, I see a lonely child and his dog sitting in a corner behind a small wall. Here you go, Valor, he tells it as he hands it a small piece of bread, keeping none for himself. Looking at the two, clearly the dog has been taking much better care of than its owner. The kid must be giving it everything he can find. Okay. Oh, so yes, another faith here. Huh. Interesting. And say, here's some food, child, and we get kind ruler, which would make people like us. Or, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to do that because people hate us. Also, I want to raise my piety so I can switch to Shinto. Okay. Hey, we get some more piety. How much do I need to switch? I need 250. Alright, so we might get that on this trip. So we're now at the festival. What's my goal? So, recreation, encourage cohesion. Wish to cultivate a greater sense of cohesion within your bloc. Coax to bloc. You'll attempt to improve your house relations with another house head and draw them towards your bloc. Or sideline from bloc. You seek to sow dissent and alienate another house head from their bloc. I want to encourage cohesion. Sure. I don't even know if anyone from my block is invited. That's okay. I do like that everyone else seems to be talking and we're just playing with our instrument in the corner. That's okay. Sure. Whatever. These days of dancing sleeves. Today is an occasion for celebration, but also to secure the blessings of the gods. Eyes, both mortal and divine, will scrutinize our conduct and offerings, so we must take care to ensure that all is in order, and the gods look favorably upon us. Reading between the folds. I see Kokushi Moto approaching, eyes glinting with mischief. I found this lying in the shadow of the pavilion, he begins. I distinctly recall it being in Toshu Yoshio's hands mere hours ago, and there's a message most suggestive inscribed upon it. We could return it to him, or perhaps I could arrange for it to be conspicuously delivered to another in his name. Perhaps Lady Okiko, the wife of his master, Kokushi Oyoshi. Okay. So, let's see. So it was in your hands, but we could get it sent here. So that would lower their relations. So it would lower Onakatomi and Tomo house relations. I can return it personally and gain the weak hook favor, which we could then turn into money because we're on the stewardship lifestyle, so we could get the fabricator, or we can get the demand payment for hooks, or keep it betwixt ourselves, which will improve our relation with this guy. Now this guy is part of our block, so I think I want to keep this betwixt ourselves for now, just you and I. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, and because we share the secret, that's plus 100. Ooh, okay. A test of wit. A note, inscribed in elegant hand, dangles delicately from a branch. Toshu Tokinaga has presented us with a riddle, Toshu Yoshio exclaims. A challenge, Kokushi Toshina counters. He thinks himself the cleverest among us. He has offered the first to solve it any boon they may desire of him. Clearly, he does not expect any of us to prevail. Okay. So I can try and solve the riddle. I can say, such confounding construction, his cleverness is truly unrivaled. Increase house relation with this person, as part of the saga block. Or the start of a competition of wits. So we can try and increase cohesion of the block. Let's try and increase the cohesion in our block. No, everybody in our block hates us. Alright. Upon a moonlit night, the messenger inviting me to Toshu Sadanori's moon-gazing party is scarcely finished when another arrives, this one bearing a letter inviting me to join Toshu Fujini instead. Such timing can hardly be coincidental. Each clearly wishes to take my measure, and to accept one invitation will be taken as an indication of my sympathy for its author, and equally as disdain for his rival. So this person has asked to see us, so he's part of the Sugawara block, and the other one is you, and you're part of no block. So I can go to you, I can go to you, I can send each my regrets along with a token of my esteem. Or let us host a gathering of our own and outshine them both. Yes, I'm going to increase the Hoki block cohesion, definitely. Wonderful. Left ashore. Taking in the night air, my companions and I come across Toshu Ayamune, gazing longingly into the water. At first I assume he is captivated by the beauty of the moon's reflection, But the noise from a group of revelers catches my attention. It would seem they embarked on a boat and poor Toshu Ainmune was left behind. And say, forget them and join us. So who is he? So he's part of this house, which is part of the saga block. Okay. How pitiful. How it is to be cast aside like a broken toy. And every member of the saga block dislikes him. Or we would never abandon one of our own. Of course, we'd never abandon one of our own. Increasing opinion within our own block again. Okay. Parting ways. As the night's revels wane and give way to the first golden rays of dawn, attendees soak up these final moments before returning to the humdrum of daily responsibility. My fellow vassal, Toshu Naokuni, approaches. Your companionship has been most welcome these past days. He pauses to give a warm smile. It would be an immense honor if you would count me among your confidants in the future. Okay. So he's part of no block. And say, such bonds are rare and to be cherished, or a treasure you regard but I must decline. I mean, I could be friends with this person. I don't see a reason not to be. Let's be friends with them. Okay, we made a friend. We'll finish our festival, and we will be on our way. Okay. Regent has failed to skim from mandates. Okay, negate this, which means that popular opinion has gone down. Also, while we're here, let's just make sure that I have him on full coffers. The pilgrims to Yamato. As we sit by the campfire after a long day, a group of travelers approaches us in the dark. They look like a gaggle of lost pilgrims led by a haggard-looking man. Despite my first impression, I noticed they were all carrying valuables of some kind or another. Please, Excellency, can we please be allowed to rest by your campfire? We have been through a long journey. Can I say, enjoy your campfire, and again, stress. Oh, I will relieve you of your troubles. I spend all my piety in order to steal their money, or there's no room for you here. I'll say, come enjoy our campfire. Tell us of your travels. It's only a very small amount of stress. Okay. Hey, we got some stewardship lifestyle experience. A foreign treat. It's not the first time I catch my caravan leader, Mitsuko, fiddling around with some flowers she's been picking along the road. Sometimes I'd swear I even hear her sighing, overlooking Kong Obuji's holding. My liege, it's not a secret that my heart has found a new home far from home. Alas, my soul aches for Aritoshi. My desire no end. His eyes, his hair. I long for just a salute. I die for a word. Please, I beg you, let me stay with him. Alright. So this random lowborn person I've got who happens to be our caravan master would like to go and be with this person. Okay. Fujiwara, part of the House Nanki, which is part of our house, or our block. So I can say, who am I to interfere in higher matters? There's enough room in our court to welcome you both, so we could welcome this person to our court, or you're coming home with me. You know what? I'm going to let her go, mainly because she's not a very good caravan master to start with. I'm not that worried about it. A new caravan master. With the position of caravan master now vacant, I look to my entourage. Is there anyone who might serve well, at least until I am home again and can search for a proper replacement? Unfortunately, I would trust none of this sorry lot to find their way home from the market, much less lead a journey to Izumo. Luckily, 2 locals have offered their services. So I can go up to average with Hazuki Hisamura. Okay. Or I can go with poor with Yoshimasa. Well, I will go with this person, especially as he appears to be free. Alright, fantastic. We now have a governance issue back home. Gain some experience for going through these places. Okay, I have not gained enough, like, piety. Seeing what my options are. Yeah, neither of these get us piety, unfortunately, so... yeah, we will simply have to find piety another way. Alright, let's make our way back home. Almost there. Though it's not going to be very dangerous walking along here, given that our caravan master is better than the one that it said that there'd be 0 danger for. And now we are home. Wonderful. Right. well, I think that is where I'm going to end the first episode of this series. Thank you very much for watching. My initial impressions of Japan gameplay appear to be that the house relations are much more important than they were in our previous playthrough. And I think that they're going to become a fundamental part of how we want to be playing, and we want to be constantly looking at the houses we're interacting with and constantly figuring out, okay, do I want to increase house relations with this house? Are they part of my block? What's my aim here? But we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this, as it's the first episode of a series, I'd really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribed, all of that sort of thing that everybody asks you to do. I only ask on the first episode of a series because it really helps with search ranking and SEO and all of that sort of stuff. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.